This is E-Commerce Uncensored. Brought to you by Fast Forward Unlimited. We're coming to you fully loaded and exposed with all the strategies and techniques for growing your e-commerce business.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on another episode of E-Commerce Uncensored. This is episode number 86. My name is Kevin Manell, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso.
And today we have a special guest here with us today. Paulie's not going to be in this episode. We have Josh Pasternak, a.k.a. Chazz Rockwell.
That's right. What's up? Thanks for having me.
We talked about Josh in episode 66. Well, we didn't talk about him, but we talked about an experience.
Oh, you looked it up? You looked up 66?
Well, the only reason why I actually know is because it was the one episode that I set up the transcript for, and I hired someone to actually put our podcast notes together. Okay. So I did a transcript of that specific episode, so it was just a coincidence.
Because we could never recall the episodes.
No, it just happens to be. I would never know.
Right.
But we talked about an experience that Josh was having with a new company that he was connected with, and we just thought it would be a good idea because tomorrow we are going to Klaviyo.
No.
What?
Yesterday.
Well, by the time you hear this,
right.
Today is September 11th.
Oh, yeah, September 11th.
Yeah. So I was hearing a lot of talk about September 11th on the radio this morning. It really got me thinking about you were kind of young, Josh, at that point.
I was a freshman in high school.
What do you remember about that?
I remember being in one of the few classrooms at the time that had a television because I was in my drama class that morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we were one of the few who could see what was actually happening right off the top. So I remember that. I remember seeing everything going down. And I remember rather trying to contact my parents because my parents had the store in the Bronx at the time. So I remember trying to get a hold of them, but I didn't have a cell phone yet because this is a while back. So I remember trying to use the payphone and call collect and just like all the lines being down, just being like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, and I think so many people have stories like that. And also, Josh talks about his parents. Josh is actually my brother-in-law. I don't think we mentioned that last time.
No.
And today's actually my parents' 50th anniversary. Today.
Yes, happy anniversary.
Thanks.
Fima and Lara.
Thank you.
And
I'll tell them.
I, on September 11th, just came out of a coma, and I was in the hospital, and they were thinking about moving me from the hospital to another hospital to make room for September for the people in the towers.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Crazy, yeah.
That's crazy. I was a junior in college, and I was just walking into, it was a Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. We're recording on a Tuesday. And I was walking into I was doing film production class at the time. For what reason, I have no idea. But I was in a film production class, and like there was all kinds of commotion, and everyone was just like, something hit the World Trade Center. And I didn't think anyone thought that it was to the extent it was until everyone got back to their dorm rooms, because they obviously shut the classes down or everyone went home. And from FDU, I was going to Fairleigh Dickinson at the time. I could actually see the smoke across the sky from the back window of my dorm room. It's crazy. But
anyway, so
crazy memories like that.
Today, our special guest, we're going to talk about a little bit about this website that he was helping out and sort of the experience. We're going to stay on sort of that experience, I guess, theme.
Selling the experience.
Yeah, selling the experience theme. But first, before we get into that, do you have an announcement?
Well, we were going to what we were talking about before I got distracted about September 11th. We are going to Klaviyo, Boston, tomorrow for their. Again, today is Tuesday, September 11th. We're leaving on the 12th tomorrow. By the time you hear this, we'll be at the conference. So if you're listening to this, check out our social media. Go to Instagram and follow us there so you can see, the kind of shit that we're doing while we're there, because we're going to be posting. Josh is actually going to help us.
I'll be there.
Doing our social media activity while Jason and I are doing whatever we're supposed to be doing when we get there.
Yeah, so Klaviyo, if you guys haven't been paying attention to for the last 11 episodes, Klaviyo is an email marketing platform that we love. We use it. We're trying to move all of our clients over to Klaviyo. I do not allow Kevin to log into our client.
Well, I have my own now.
Now you have your own, right? Because you are not touching our client
Eventually,
stuff.
I will break
You're
into
not.
Yes,
you're not.
I will.
Trust me, you're not.
The problem is like if I ever do that, then you'll just stop working completely, and you won't do anything, and it'll just be like, oh, Kevin's in there, so he'll do it.
I won't have a choice because you'll screw everything up. So, so anyway, Klaviyo is our favorite e-commerce, I guess, email marketing platform.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, amazing.
It really is. And we have a special that you guys can sign up if you haven't done so already, ecommerceuncensored.com/email. That will redirect you to their website where you can sign up for free if you have 250, contacts or less. Yeah, I mean, they're going to give us credit. They're sponsoring our show, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I actually signed up. The account that I signed up for was my wife's little e-commerce business that she started, the signs, the memory signs.
Yeah.
And, you know, since you hadn't let me in there at all to ever do it, I was unsure what I was going to have to do when I did it. But she has a WooCommerce site, and I think within a half hour of signing up, Klaviyo has already had the data from WooCommerce.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Like the revenue that people have spent, when they bought, you know, what they bought. It was
and
pretty
you can
incredible.
like put people in these different like segments and lists where like if they spent more than $100 or $500 or $1,000 or whatever, you know, they'll get dumped into these different segments and different lists, and then you can market to them differently than other people. It tells you exactly how much each email has made, which is awesome, especially from our perspective, because if you're, you know, testing out something and you want to see like what message worked the best, it's awesome. It shows you everything. And I'll tell you what, man, if you're making sales at any level, it's going to make you money, and it's worth switching over. So ecommerceuncensored.com/email. Now, we have a Facebook group that is growing. You can get to that at ecommerceuncensored.com/Facebook.
You always do the face.
I know. Facebook. And join our group. We'd love to have you. We're going to start doing some trainings in there shortly.
And we end up talking a lot about Klaviyo in there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the people who have signed up for the Klaviyo account, and we're kind of helping them through any problems they may have.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And if you do sign up, shoot me an email, jason@ecommerceuncensored.com. And if you have, you know, if you're making some money already, I'll set up 2 flows for you. If you aren't making any money, there's not much I can do for you. However, when you do start making sales, I'll you know, be happy to do the flows for you. So just shoot me an email and let me know that you signed up through our link.
Yeah, and we're going to this Klaviyo event tomorrow, and we're going to be, you know, we're going to be interviewing some people. So our upcoming podcast, the next at least 2 podcasts are going to be probably from this event. We're going to meet some people and do some interviews. We're also going to be listening in on some of the seminars that are going to be going on. So we're going to be coming back with some really cool information, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited. So, Chazz Rockwell.
What's up?
Chazz is a DJ here in the New York City area.
At Chazz Rockwell.
Yeah, it's at Chazz Rockwell, Chazz Rockwell, ROCK.
Yeah, that's gonna cost. That's gonna cost you. You know that.
Yeah,
right?
really.
Every
We're gonna cut that out unless you give us some loot.
I think I'm pretty sure I have more followers than
Whoa,
you guys.
whoa,
easy.
Maybe when I put you guys up on something,
Oh.
you get a little cut. I'm just
Why
saying.
do you think you're on here? So you can promote it on your
Right.
Instagram.
Oh, I can't wait. We're gonna blow this up.
Right.
Wait, what? How many followers do you have?
I'm closing in on 1,000.
Oh, nice.
But it's so crazy in the
1,114.
Yeah, we have a
Just,
little.
just in
Oh,
case you
wow.
were wondering.
Just-
I mean,
wow. See.
Right. I know, like huge numbers, both
Yeah,
sides.
both sides. Both sides.
Right. So, Josh, who is AKA Chazz,
Yes.
actually was working with this company, this DJ company, I guess it is. It's a platform that you can download, and correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, where you can, you know, download music. You can use different like loops.
It's a record pool. It's a tool for DJs to have the latest music and some of the old stuff as well. Just anything you need as a DJ musically, and have like remixes, edits of that stuff that's useful for like clubs and stuff for mixing purposes, and it's strictly for DJs.
Right. So Josh was tasked with using social media to get signups. It's a monthly, I guess. It's a monthly.
Yep.
Okay.
A monthly fee.
Monthly fee. To,
Heavyhits.com. Shout out to Isaac and Rays and Monarch and all those guys at heavyhits.com.
Right. So
Great platform.
And the last couple of episodes we've been talking about our Disney trip. But Josh has been talking to Kevin about certain different ideas, bouncing things off of him, and we just thought we would talk about sort of the process in which he was signing people up, and then sort of what happened afterward. Because, with a recurring revenue model, you do got to suck people in somehow, and then actually get them to use the platform, right? Because most people aren't going to use it, right? They're going to sign up and then go off into Never Never Land, right? So as it relates to or bringing that same idea to an e-commerce sort of store, right? When somebody buys something from you, you're going to want to keep engaging with them through email so that they know who you are, they remember who you are, and then you can start selling them other things.
Well, it's interesting because when you first came to me about it, you hold hands. That's nice. When you first wanted my advice and you called me, which Jason takes my advice a lot, so it's a good choice on your end. But when you first came to me, I was like, wow, that is.
First of all, let's not forget who you learned all this from.
Okay.
Go ahead. Next.
My first thought was wow, that is a huge task. They're asking you.
It was a lot.
Yeah, they're asking you to do something that is, there's a lot of levels to it, and I feel like when we first talked about it, and when I'm kind of nerdy about this stuff, and I'm sure Jason is too, when it comes to when you start talking to people about this, it's kind of, you just start going and going. You're like, oh, wait, you can go this way, and you should try this, or you could do that. And I feel like I spit a lot of information at that first day.
I don't think we ever had any conversation on the phone about this, and we had several that were under 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. The first one we talked about was on the phone, though, I think.
Yeah, but you know what? Half of that stuff he told you probably doesn't work.
We were doing well. I'm sure we'll get to it. But by the time we had him sitting in a much better spot than when we first started.
Yeah, and
that's all a lot of his advice.
Yeah, and a lot of people listening to us are in the same situation that they are, right? They're a new platform.
Yeah.
Right? Most people listening, at least from what we're gathering, are new at this or just beginning their journey. All the emails that I'm getting from people that are signing up to Klaviyo are really starting out their journey. There are some people who are a little bit down the road, but most of our listeners are in the exact position that these guys were in when they came to Josh to ask him to help them. So there's going to be a lot of parallels to sort of what he did or what he was going to do or whatever to what you guys should do with your stores.
I think one of the points of the business that they were working on is they had a previous business, and we're using them as an example, but I feel like this can relate to a product too. So let's say they had a product and they were kind of struggling. It wasn't going as well. So their first inclination was to improve the platform, which is nice. But it is a massive investment to improve a product or a platform like this.
Yeah, and not only that, everybody falls in love with their product. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of products out there that are really good that nobody buys, right? And this platform, from what, Josh is saying, as a DJ, as somebody who is actually their customer, right? That's their target.
Right.
He loves the platform. You love the platform, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Right. But there's a lot of products like that people aren't buying. So just because your product is great, just because you have an awesome product, it doesn't mean that people are just going to buy it because it's awesome, right?
Yeah, we run into a lot with our clients. We had a client that had an oven for his backyard, and he kept talking about how he spent 4 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars making his product better than anybody else's.
Right, as if those other people had a magic wand and just their stove or whatever the hell he was selling just kind of came out of nowhere, right? Everybody goes through that process. Everybody thinks that their product is the best, right? So there are plenty of platforms out there like Josh that there are one really blows up and no one ever hears about the other one.
It is also very subjective, with a platform like that or an interface. Maybe you think it's wonderful, and I'm not saying it's not wonderful, but it doesn't mean Joe Blow down the street DJ thinks it's better than it was before.
It's a really dope DJ name, by the way, Joe Blow. Shout out to Joe Blow out there, DJ Joe Blow.
Yeah, love it. So my point really was, why not work on the process that's going to sell the product before you go ahead and change everything about
Well, how
it.
about you acquire customers?
Right.
Right. So like let's figure out how we get people to come in and buy, and then you can figure out, right? Like Google or Stitcher or any of these platforms, they're not perfect the day that they launch, right? That's why every day my iPhone is getting updates, right? Every day they're improving it, they're making it better. So it's never perfect the first day you sell it. And oftentimes it's pretty bad, right? But you're solving a problem. That's what's important. Like, what problem are you solving for your customer, for the person who's buying? That's what you need to focus on, right?
We went through this with a restaurant. We keep going back to this restaurant because
No, you keep going back to the restaurant.
Well, I think it's relevant because it's a kind of a similar thing. Like this woman called us to fix her website and make her website better so she could get more customers, and that's not what's going to make more customers. Just like improving a platform isn't necessarily going to get you more customers.
You can have a platform that works really well and have 0 people on it.
Right.
Well, what's the point?
Right.
So Josh, from our standpoint, if they would have hired us, I would have said to them, like, look, man, like, let's figure out how to get customers. Let's figure out what the cost of acquisition is. Let's figure out the lifetime value of a customer. They have no idea of any of that stuff, right? Like, they don't know how long the average DJ stays with them.
The way they have it set it up, I wasn't involved so much on the back end with it, but it was really difficult to pull a lot of metrics like that, metrics that are very important. There was a lot of like philosophical discussions that I would talk about with Kevin, and we kind of try to articulate towards them is, what's a customer worth? Like, how much are you willing?
That's a lifetime value, right?
What are you willing to give in order to get someone, and then
and if you don't know that person is worth $200 to you, then you don't know what you can spend to acquire a customer. And that's why it's important for anybody with a new store, a new e-commerce store, is like, worry. And Kevin doesn't like when I say this, but instead of worrying about your logo, worry about how to get people to buy your freaking product. And once you learn how to get them to buy, and then how much they're going to spend as they go through your process and how long it takes them to spend that, then you can, backward invest into making your site look pretty.
Well, then I guess what you have, once you've figured out that process to acquire customers and you know how long they're going to stay and how much you can make from them, you have money.
Right.
Money. It costs money.
And you're going to reinvest it back into the platform.
Exactly.
But, it's like you can't build something and then without anybody using it and then expect that just because you built it nicer that people are going to, use the platform. So it's important to know what it costs to acquire a customer. And Josh, you're going to be doing this for yourself, right? Like, you want to start sending traffic to your own website, right? You have to figure out what that dollar amount is. Like, how much is it going to cost me to get someone to buy, right? Now, if you're giving something away for free, you have to factor that in. How long is it going to take you to get to X? And how long is each of those people, or how much are those worth over a time period, right? Their lifetime value. And then you can, sort of go backwards and engineer a process that gets people in for less than what.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like, for that situation, like Chazz also does, I'm going to refer to you as Chazz if that's okay.
I'm very used to it.
If
I call you stupid all the time, so it's the same thing,
He's going to be doing, he wants to improve his wedding business, his wedding DJ side of things. You're talking about a little bit of a bigger, product there. So a couple $1,000s. I don't know what the actual price point is, but if it costs you $500 to get a bride to sign you, then it makes sense, and you can actually scale that procedure, right? Because on the other end of something, you're going to make $2,000-$3,000, even though you've spent $500 in Facebook advertising and Instagram promotion and giving away products or sending T-shirts or whatever the hell it may be.
And once you get them in at that maybe 2,000, you can figure out other things to sell them, right? And, we were having a conversation before we got on here, and, the offer that, they wanted to do to get people into their platform was like, save 50% on the first month, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
it comes down to $12.50.
Right, okay. So I don't know you. I have no idea. I've never heard of the platform. I have no idea who you are. And I'm going to save $12. Like, you're going to get me to try your platform to save $12, right? It's just not enough money to make me change my behavior, right? So, number one, I think you have to find out how much it's going to cost you to acquire a customer, but also find out what kind of offer or what you can do to get people in that's going to actually change their behavior, right? Like if, I don't know, like just an example, if somebody came to me and said, hey, look, this is just like the iPhone. It does everything that the iPhone does. I'll give it to you for $5 less than the iPhone. You're going to say, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There's no real motivation to change my behavior. But if you can prove to me that that iPhone does every single thing that a regular iPhone does for half the cost,
Or maybe even better.
or even better, for half the cost, then I may change my behavior and take you up on your offer. But if I don't know who you are and you're like the savings is going to be like
The
12
iPhone's a very good example because we're talking about, for experienced DJs, anyone who's been in it for a long time, you're likely already on a pool. You're already using a record pool, whether it's BPM Supreme or Franchise or any of the ones that are out there, Club Killers. So it's just like having a phone. You've already got a phone. You've already got your iPhone.
So not only are you trying to sell them a product, you're trying to change their minds to move away from the product they already have.
Right.
right, you're changing their behavior.
And to do that, you go back to what we've been talking about these last couple episodes. I think if you have to stick with that offer, like that's the best you can do as far as your offer goes, then you got to put more towards.
Well, see, no, I disagree with you because your offer can always get better. Just upselling them.
Well, I'm just saying if that's what they're stuck with. If Josh is tasked with being stuck with this offer, of course you can give it away for free for the first month. And
I kind of feel the same way. Like I'm kind of stuck with you, and I don't really have a choice. So yeah, I can relate.
That's the offer. That's the only offer I got.
Yeah, and that's a really tough bargain. But
you love me so much. You have no idea. See, this is the kind of flirting that happens. It's like when
flirting.
when you're in 6th grade and you're like pulling the girl's hair behind you. That's kind of like what's happening here.
Yeah,
he looks up to me.
I don't
in
know
that
what
way.
I don't know what hair you're pulling on Jason's head right now.
He's pulling my hair.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So he's like teasing me and he's trying to get he's making me laugh, like he's trying to entertain me. So like
But anyway, so number one, right? You were tasked with getting more customers, right? So
Yes, more customers, more money. How do we do it?
Right.
That was the
Classic.
slap.
okay,
That's classic.
and they came up with a brilliant idea to make people save $12, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, from what you say, you were getting a few people to sign up every day.
Yeah.
Now, you don't know what you were losing because the offer wasn't that strong.
We had an idea of like the flow every month where we were losing like 12, but over the course of a month. But by the time I was done, because I'm no longer running this just because of it was a time suck for me, and I'm kind of needing to prioritize my own DJ career and everything. And it was a great experience when I was there, and I still love these guys. Still a member of the site. Still used it before. I had 3 gigs this last weekend. Just dove into heavy hits and caught up on everything I needed. Like, it's so effective. But I'm still not there. But prior to leaving, they were getting 3 to 5 new signups a day.
Right. Now,
so they're on their way.
Right. 3 to 5 signups a day. How many clicks a day were you getting?
I don't know. I don't have the access to that one. But
1,000, 2,000, 5,000.
How much were you spending per day on ads?
we're probably spending, by the end of it, like 10, 15, 20 bucks a day.
Okay.
Yeah, so you were only getting like 30 clicks a day if it was 50 cents, you said, on average?
I said 19 cents.
Some of them depends
19
on what we were giving away. Our most successful stuff was when we were actually giving away something, which was something we talked about. Like we were giving away the access to look at our playlists. Like Aretha Franklin had passed away, so we put together a playlist for Aretha Franklin. It's really quick. It's really important to be like the first. Like anything in the DJ world, even when I'm making my own personal edits and remixes, and I always give that stuff away just to get followers or generate traffic to my website. Here's this edit pack of the new Travis Scott album just came out. It's really important to be first. So when Aretha passed, we put together this playlist and everyone has access to it, and we promoted that, and that did tremendous. Like we were getting 19, 18 cents per click on that, and we put
right, which
$20 a day into it.
And see, so here's the thing. When you're talking about building a sustainable business, you can't sit around waiting for people to die, right? Like you just can't, right? It just doesn't work. I mean, it's just like, being featured on Fox News or CNN or MSNBC. Like that sort of like hype only lasts for so long, and you can't expect that to happen all the time. So you have to figure out a a sustainable way to bring in customers, right?
Right.
A sustainable way to keep bringing, because if you're going to just wait for some sort of like catastrophic thing, it's like, you can't control that. And you want to be able to say, like, if I spend $1,000, I'm going to make $5,000. If I spend $50, I'm going to make $300. And if you can figure that metric out, and this is what we do with our clients very often, right? We start out with a small number, $10 a day. And they're always like, oh my God, it's working so well. Can we spend $1,000 a day? We're like, whoa. We have to make sure that it works at every step. So let's take the $10 a day and go to $20 a day. Then from $20 a day, let's go to $30 a day, because we have to make sure that the conversion rate is going to stay the same regardless of how much we spend, because it doesn't always correlate. If you spend $10 a day, just because you spend $1,000, it doesn't mean that it's going to convert at the same rate. So you got to be careful of that. You got to make sure that, you're slowly, incrementally, increasing your ad spend. So once you get a good handle on that, once you've finally know exactly what it costs you to acquire a customer, and I would encourage anybody who's listening to this, whether you're new or doing this a long time, whatever, you got to spend some money. You just have to. Mm-hmm. There's no like law that says you got to spend $1 million or spend $5,000 or $2,000 or $100,000, but you have to spend some money. And really, if you don't spend money, you're just like, in the old days, people would be like, oh, I'm gonna start a blog, and they're like, okay, how do I make money with a blog? Well, the answer would normally be, well, over X amount of time, and you creating so much content, Google will find you, and SEO and all this other happy horse shit. Whereas now, today, I can say, look, we can skip all that shit, spend $20 a day, and we can see what happens much faster.
And be prepared for it not to work, essentially, because 9 times out of 10, it might not work.
Right.
9 times out of 10, it might not work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But the idea is that you can get answers a lot quicker with social media marketing, with Google advertising. I mean, there's YouTube, whatever. There's a lot of different ways to figure out what it's going to cost you, because once you figure out how to get paid traffic to work, you then can scale your business as quickly as you want.
It was exceptionally powerful, and I even noticed it with them. And it was a great experience for me, because now I took what I learned, and essentially, I did well for them. We got them in a good place, and now I could take what I learned and apply it to myself. And especially with like advertising on Facebook and Instagram, you can get really into the minutia and target people. So for some of the first ads, we're targeting, all of Europe, for example, and North America for some DJs we're going after. And I started looking at it, and I started, after 2 days, I'm looking at my clicks, and we're doing great in terms of the pay-per-click numbers, whatever, like 30 cents, whatever. But I'm looking, and I'm like, these, I'm getting responses in Polish and Russian, and I'm like, this isn't really effective. Like, we might be getting people to look at this and click on this, but I don't think these guys are signing up. And sure enough, I check and I look, and I'm not seeing anything coming in there. So you kind of can adjust and play with it. You got to figure out what's working for you. Then eventually we figured out what we're trying to target, who we're trying to go for. We put out a playlist specifically of French rap music. Obviously, you target that towards more European, France and other countries like that. Yep. So you kind of work with it, figure out what you want to play with, and then you scale it up, which is something I learned, like I saw personally happen. You kind of keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
And Facebook is so powerful compared to just going through like Instagram with that sort of stuff. Like,
yeah,
don't pay for your ads on Instagram. It is, yeah.
Well, you can run ads on Instagram.
Yeah.
Just run them
Just-
through
yeah, run 'em
the
through
Facebook
Facebook.
Ads
Through
Manager.
Yeah. The funny thing is, Kev, just to get off topic a little bit, it's so typical of what happened to him. He got them going, and they're like, hey, we're going to do it ourselves. Like, we get that every day. It's like, you were making $0, now you're making $20,000 a month, and now you want to go do it yourself.
Yeah, and they really don't see what you went through to get them to this point,
Right.
and they're just going to jump in, and
Right.
kind of take over.
But one thing, so Josh, kind of, you got them going, right? Like, you created these ads, like people were signing up. I mean, we can all agree that there are probably, better offers than to save $12 to change my platform. But you were getting people to sign up, right? So number one, you have to figure out what it costs to acquire a customer. Number two, once you acquire them, the selling doesn't stop. And this is where a lot of business owners, a lot of e-commerce companies, miss the mark. They get people to buy like a trinket or whatever, and then they're like, oh, all right, I have a customer now. Let me go try to find more new customers. It's not the right way to think about it, right? Like, it's cheaper to sell to people who already purchased from you than it is to sell to people who don't know you, right? So when you get a customer, your brain should be thinking sell more, right? Not like, hey, I got a customer, it's great. It's like, okay, now I got a customer. How the hell do I squeeze as much money out of them as possible? Now, some of that is post-purchase, funnels, whether that be upsells, cross-sells, downsells. And then the other side of it is email, right? Like engaging them with email. And, Josh had, just to give you guys an example, he would get people to sign up, and then like there'd be no sort of like back-end email like follow-up with them. And for DJs, Josh gave us a really good example where if they came onto the platform, they should have gotten an email that said, here are our favorite picks. Here are the most downloaded, mixes, songs, whatever. And then you can even throw some sort of offer in there, right? Like, you don't have to just stop like selling how they purchase. Like, hey, how would you like to upgrade to our premium or our advanced service? That gives you, you can talk to somebody. We'll help you with this. Well, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I think the way they thought about it almost was like they got them to sign up, so now they're going to be, it kind of was like a crapshoot how long they're going to stay. But if you continue, it was almost like you got to try to sell them every month to keep them on the platform. So for them, like the upsell was another month and then another month. And I have this live concert subscription that I use on the Apple or the Fire Stick. I spent, it was cheap. It was $79 for the year. And I get weekly emails from them telling me what's on their platform, what's new. So like, when it comes for me to re-up, I'm like, oh, well, they have a lot of good shit coming out. And they're constantly, you say that they always have, like they're the first ones to get these latest mixes or whatever. The customer needs to know the fact that they're going to get this every
Not
week.
everyone is checking your Instagram every single day just because you're on there putting up stories. Not everyone's going to be looking at that. And
Actually, most people are not.
Right.
An email blast it puts everything right there for you. And it doesn't, I mean, for again, DJing is what I know. I've been doing this since I was 13 years old. I've been doing it forever. So to have someone hit you in the face with like, all right, these are the top 5 tracks of the week. This is what we're feeling. You need these in your sets. That's huge to have that coming through your inbox. But that goes to like any product, like you were saying.
Yeah,
for this model, you're selling them every single month. Yeah. You're trying to get them to keep coming back. For someone who's sold, a trinket or some, natural medicine or anything like that, you want to keep showing them what you have new that's coming out or what can.
Well, not only that, like the first thing that comes up to my head is like when they buy the first month, upsell them to a yearly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, hey, save 20% if you pay for the whole year, right? Like, with showing people what's the most downloaded and what the top hits are, whatever, people don't want to miss out. So when you tell them like all of our DJs are downloading these 5 things, right? It's funny. Russell Brunson's. I saw this ad from him, and he was talking about how like I'm gonna mess up exactly what he said, but he was talking about being absolutely positive with your offer. For example, like when we come on here, we love Klaviyo so much that we say, go quit what you're using and sign up for Klaviyo right now, right? That's a directive that is absolute. Or you could say, hey, if you want, Klaviyo is like a really cool tool and, I think you really like it. There's nothing absolute about that, right? So it's hard for people to take that, process it, and then go take action, right? Whereas if Josh were to send an email to these people like, look, these are the top 10 downloaded songs, mixes, whatever, you have to download them. This is what's trending right now. Download them. People are like, oh, okay, I'm going to go do it, right?
Yeah.
So if you just have them sign up for the platform and you're just like, hey, good luck, have a good time.
Oh, and you talked about equipment too, like turntables, like the top turntables that you can buy.
Right, affiliate links.
Affiliate links. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to have a product. Make some money on Amazon. Do shit like that.
Right.
There's all kinds of angles you can use after.
All kinds of angles, and you have to think like when you get that customer in the door, right? Like your brain has to go to like, how can I sell them more stuff?
Yeah.
Because
rather than moving on to new people.
Right,
It's good to focus on new people too, but you got to keep people, especially in a business like that where it's a monthly thing, because they were losing people too.
Yeah, well, there's always churn. I mean, it's going to be around 30% always. I mean, that's just what it is. But it doesn't matter what you're selling. It goes for everybody.
Yep.
Right. Like I mean, somebody buys something and that if they need to learn how to use it, I mean, don't make them like have to go figure it out on yourself. Send them like an email, like an onboarding email.
I mean,
like
this goes across everything. I'm about to do my 3rd bat mitzvah for one family, for this one mom who's gonna hit me up now for her last daughter's bat mitzvah, and that's partly because like I do a good job. My clients like me, they want to work back with me. But I have an email, I have a newsletter. I'm hitting these people up.
Oh, you do? I didn't know you send out emails.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
and
gotta
ask people.
Stay fresh in their brains.
Like, do you know anybody that would need like it's so funny because people don't ask. Like, you know anybody else that may need a DJ? You know anybody else that would like my T-shirt? You know anybody else that would like my sneakers? Whatever you're selling. Like, your brain has to go into like selling mode once you get them in, and part of that goes back to the whole experience and Disney, right? Like, when you walk in that place, I mean, honestly, and I know it sounds corny, but when I walked into Magic Kingdom, it's like you just felt different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like you look at that castle and the nostalgia of it. Like, it's been in so many like pictures. It's like all over TV, and like it's just like the whole experience of walking in that door. And it's the same thing with products, right? Like, once they come in the door, that's really where it starts. It's not where it ends. And bringing them through an experience after that is so important, and nobody does it.
Well, you when you sat here before we started recording and you started to describe like what the platform was and how great it was and everything that's going to be involved in it, it's a good selling. It's selling there, but they didn't think about actually selling that experience online. They just wanted to say, here, our product's better than everyone else's. Come sign up. So you need to be able to communicate that through your ads, through your emails and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think that people don't realize that they're going to have to see you over and over and over again, especially on a recurring model like you had. The first time's not good enough. You need to hit them again with something else and again with something else.
And let's say you're selling this mic, right? What are all the products we each have that's going along with this mic? I honestly, if you look, you probably are going to miss a couple of them, right? Seriously.
Yeah.
You have the mic, you have the wire, you have the stickers, you have the cube, you have this.
It's a filter.
Filter.
Kind of filter.
You have this arm. You have this whatever the hell this thing is called. What is this, like a
shock mount?
I mean, there's like 7 products if you buy a mic that you're gonna need, right?
Wearing headphones on your head.
Headphones, right? I thought we would miss them. We missed something. I knew we would miss something. But I'm just saying, like, if somebody buys a mic from you, you have like 10 other products.
They got a lot of avenues.
There's a lot of other avenues to sell.
Yeah, and someone who signs up for such a specific industry, you know exactly your audience at that point. They've signed up. They're a DJ. You know what they're going to need.
Yeah, I mean, let's say you sell fish tanks. I mean, what else do they need with that fish tank? They're going to need the little rocks at the bottom. They're going to need a filter. They're going to need a light. They're going to need like the heat, whatever. They're going to need all these little things. Like, why just sell them like one thing, right? Like, they need to go somewhere to get that crap. And usually, depending, 9 times out of 10, I would say, people don't know what they need. So if you're like, hey, people who bought, like Amazon, people who bought this, and this, although Amazon I don't think is ever accurate because we've taken their advice and it's been the wrong shit. But if you say like, hey, you bought this tank, you're going to need this top, and people like these lights because they heat things up quicker, blah, 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 and here are the 2 options. And people don't have to think about whether or not those items work with the fish tank. They don't have to think. It's like a big problem that you've just solved for them.
People love not to think.
People, right. When you start getting people to think, you're going to lose them. And that's like a big thing. So you have to think about all the other things. I mean, even if it's just like, I saw somebody selling like faster shipping. Like, hey, they place the order and just say for the next 10 minutes you can get upgraded shipping for just $2. I mean, just if you have 1,000 orders a day and you're getting $2 more, I mean, that's $2,000, right? So you got to just think about all the little things that people are going to need when they buy your product and taking them through an experience that is enjoyable, that they like, that helps them, not have anxiety about what they just purchased. I mean, there's just a lot of ways that you can do it. So I don't know. You guys have anything to add to that?
Anything else, Joshy Poo?
No.
Chazzy Poo?
Chazzy Poo. That's my alter ego.
Well, Joshy, why don't you give them one last plug and let them know where you're at so they can follow you?
Yeah, well, I'm in Boston this weekend.
With us?
With you guys. Looking forward to that. Might have a gig on Friday. Stay tuned to that. We're trying to work that out.
Don't stay tuned because by the time you hear the next episode, it'll be over.
That's true. Well, catch me in New York City. I'm all over. My Instagram always has my gigs. It's Chazz Rockwell, CHAZZ Rockwell. That's at Chazz Rockwell. That's ChazzRockwell.com. I'm very easy to find. Google me and all that stuff. And come check.
Sound like you're like on the radio trying to do like a DJing gig. Hey, my name is Chazz Rockwell here on 97.3.
It's real weird being on a mic. Cause normally I'm on a microphone like when I'm in a club or like I'm emceeing like a party or something like that. I'm a lot more lively. This is the most chill I've ever been on a microphone in my entire life.
Yeah.
Well, Chazzy will be with us at this Klaviyo Boston event.
Yes.
We're leaving tomorrow, so by the time you hear this, again, go our Instagram at e-commerce.
Go our Instagram.
He can't let anything go by.
No.
That I say improperly.
And it ain't like I don't make mistakes.
Just go to our Instagram at e-commerce uncensored. Follow us so you can keep up with the things that are going to go on. We also have our Facebook group.
ecommerceuncensored.com/Facebook.
Facebook.
Why do I keep doing that?
I don't know.
ecommerceuncensored.com/email to sign up for Klaviyo. It will make you money. Period. There's no joke. It'll make you money.
Right away.
And right away.
Yeah.
Right. 20%, 20 to 60%. Or was it 30 to 60% of the overall revenue comes from email.
Cool. So this has been episode number 86. You can check us out at ecommerceuncensored.com and Instagram and all those. Follow us so you can check out our Klaviyo event that's coming up this week. And we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Later.
Peace.